Greetings, citizens from the rolling hills of the bluegrass. I want to start this twofer off with a disclaimer. This is not about a video games company. Repeat, this is not about a video games company. But it's about what we do to one another through social media. So, whenever I was a kid, I'd be with friends or be with cousins, and we would do something called playing in person. Some of you may have called it make-believe, playing pretend, imagination, use your imagination. We called it playing in person because we took on the role of a person. You'll be Batman, I'll be Superman, that person will be whoever, and we'll play in person. We'll act as they are. You'll be, or if it was the Marvel thing, you'll be Wolverine, you'll be the Hulk, and I'll be a Nightcrawler. And we went out and we did daring things because we played outside. We weren't inside all the time. We were kids and we went out into the forest and we took a rope just in case. Remember the story that you had one cousin or one friend who would kind of do something crazy and you might need a rope to get him out of it. But when you were out there, you were the Hulk. You were Wolverine. You were a number of potential people in the mind of a child. So then social media comes along. And on social media, which is funny because I'm not using my real name for this channel, but like those fictional characters that we used to play, we get on social media. We get on the other website, or we get here on BitChute. And we play a part. We play an ideal. We play a character. Now that character may be rooted in who we are. But it's a character. This is entertainment. There may be information passed along, but you listen to this because you want to be entertained. And some people get their kicks by listening to political commentary. We're a weird bunch, aren't we? But we get on social media and we espouse an idea that may be contrary. And this is in reference to the goings-on with Disney, Lucasfilms, and Gina Carano. Not going to touch on what exactly she said. I'm going to talk about what happened. So in human history, we are violent. We take out our aggression on other people physically in order to gain resources, to make concrete our borders that you can't come in. We defend the things that are ours. And we've done that over time with violence. So in walks someone with a contrary political opinion into a realm, into an area, a territory that is perceived by others to be theirs. Twitter is a leftist area. And in walks people who are more right-leaning. Well, that can't be allowed. That's a lion in the Pride Lands that doesn't belong. That's a tiger outside of its range, a wolf, whatever. You're in the wrong place. You don't belong. We've tried talking to you. We've jeered you. We've done everything to get you to leave. And you won't. What are we going to do? Cancel them. It is the digital equivalent to murdering somebody. And that is intended to be hyperbolic, because if they say words of violence, then could not cancellation be digital homicide? Because you hound them and you get them gone, and then you parade the carcass of this slain enemy, the digital carcass of this slain enemy, all over the place, saying, look who we defeated. This is our clubhouse. No one can come in. And this is what has taken the place of real physical violence. Because if verbal statements, words, are violence, then this is the next step. Because now you can go directly after somebody. Because you can go after their livelihoods if something blows up on social media. If someone really sticks their foot in their mouth, perceived by those who pay the paychecks, then you can take someone out without lifting a weapon, clenching a fist. You can take someone out. And there's no repercussions. You don't have to go to trial. You don't have to hire a lawyer, get into financial debt by that way. There are no repercussions for canceling somebody at all. The mob speaks, the person goes away. That's basically all I have to say about it, because that's where this goes. Right? Politics is war by other means. Canceling is murder by other means. Intentionally hyperbolic. You take away someone's livelihood, they're as good as dead. Unless someone's there to help them. And then you cancel that person for helping this other person. And the guillotine slides on. The digital guillotine. Part 2. In this twofer is something that I find interesting because it challenged me, which is great. I love to have my mind bent. So have you ever walked into a party, or maybe a friend of a friend, who it's like, oh, well, we're going to go over to so-and-so's place, and then we're going to go to the movie, or we're going to go have dinner, supper. And the moment you hit the door, you get this strange feeling of, ooh, I shouldn't be here. And the longer you're there, you get a little more curious. You're a little more interested in the goings-on of whatever's occurring around you. But you're still just over your shoulder looking, where's the door? In case something happens. And you're kind of going, I just don't think I need to be here. But you're curious. I was talking in a chat room of a live stream on the other website, and I had watched a video by this person, and I'm being intentionally vague so as not to draw attention to that person because I don't know their full motivations, but I'm trying to, I'm intentionally being vague to deal with it. I enjoyed one of their videos, subscribed to the channel, and I'm watching, ooh, they've got a live stream going on, okay, pop in. And you start watching it, and it's like, 10 minutes, and you're listening to what the person on, and every once in a while you're engaging with the chat. And what the chat is saying is confusing you. Because you go in thinking, okay, this person is kind of a libertarian, freedom-minded person. But the chat is kind of espousing something that smells like fascism. And they're using this term NRX. And you go, what does that mean? Well, it means neo-reactionary. Well, then you go to the quickest source of information. We all know what that is. You read the article, you realize the article, of course, has bias. This is not written by anyone who is going to praise neo-reactionaries. But now you're curious. It's like, what is this all about? And the name Moldbug starts coming up. And you go, okay, I know that name. Not really looked into much. Seen a few things here and there. Not really disagreed with anything in those specific interviews. But what's occurring in this chat does not sound anything at all what Moldbug was talking about. And then the person whose live stream it is says Vanguard, an elite Vanguard, and everything in my brain, just all of the alarm bells just start going off. An elite Vanguard. That's socialism right there. That's Leninism right out the bat. And it's like, where are you going? Because none of this makes any sense. Because the terms and the phrases have already been used. They've been co-opted by the socialists. So then to hear somebody who took down a socialist in one of their videos, then using the terms and phrases of a socialist, well, the only other option then is a fascist. And I'm talking about the real economic fascism before 1939 in Italy. Right? If I'm going to talk about Nazism, I'm going to talk about Nazism 1932 to 1945 in Germany. If I'm talking about fascism, I'm talking about Mussolini in Italy with Gentili. Or Gentili with Mussolini. Those people. That's what I mean by fascism. And you start getting that uncomfortable feeling. You start getting this idea of, well, that surely couldn't be the idea. Is that really what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm getting out of all of this? Is that this is some kind of weird marrying of monarchism and fascism put together? And then you actually go to the source, which is the point of all of this, right? Not secondhand, not acolytes, not anyone on the periphery. You go to the source and you find an interview with Moldbug where he explains some of these things. And it's kind of like we've got a rebirth of the cynics. Or the what is it? I think one of the other terms used to describe this is nihilism is in the mix here. And it's something that you have to fight, because it all at times can seem just very, you become like the dude. Well, that's just, your opinion, man. And it just becomes this, well, that's whatever you believe. Okay, fine. Now, if I was dealing with socialists, there would be a very clear, or outright fascist, there would be a very clear thing. I would say, well, that's your opinion, man. And then they would come back, yes, it's my opinion, and we're in power, so you're going to follow it. Oh, okay. And I think that's one of the things where libertarian kind of does, differentiates itself. It's like, basically, well, if you want to go and do your thing. Just don't force it on other people. But the question that Moldbug raises, and the reason why all of this suddenly clicked with why these people over here in the chat were talking about monarchism, was something that Moldbug said, that true libertarianism is monarchism, because you need a point in the road where this is it. This is the place where the decisions are going to be made. And that usually ends up in the hands of one person. So let me read you the reply to the video that I wrote. So it said, just ran into these ideas espoused by Mr. Mulberg, and I too have many questions. I see socialism and libertarianism having the same fatal flaw, that my ideas, require an already built house. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, the structures have to already be in place. A factory must be up and running for socialists, and freedoms must be already won by those who are more likely not libertarians. Those ideas have to already be in place for libertarians and socialists to basically work before my ideas can take shape. It is this pursuit of those who are more than likely not libertarians. It is the pursuit of power, the need to take it so no one can see the correct way enthroned and thwart the wrong ways from gaining said power. Whether it is the technocrat, the common despot, the lunatic partisan, a tyranny will be made by a small number over the many. The solutions are what I'm interested in, and moving back to monarchy is not acceptable. But I too have thought a long time on who will watch the watchers. Watching the watchers watch the watchers ad infinitum. Once you pick a point and say, here is the last stop, this is where the decisions will be made, then any one of those listed tyrants are going to scramble to get on that train to the end of the line. And so it all makes sense why they would say that libertarianism, that true libertarianism, is a monarchy. Because you have to have somewhere, at some point, someone's got to say, these are the rules. And it makes you wonder, what are we thinking about? What are we doing? Are we just spouting bullshit? Pardon my language. And I think that's where libertarians, we're going to get squuzz out. You ever had something get squuzz? It's like squeezing, but it's real hard. They're going to push us out because we have a big fatal flaw that we're not talking about and we will not discuss. I've never heard anyone talk about it. No one. And we've got to come up with the answer. But I have a bad feeling that any answer we come up with is not going to be satisfactory to the idea of freedom. And that, for the last 10 years, has been the first moment where I've gone, oh, well, that's a, because that cedes a ton of ground to the true socialists, the true fascists, communists, and even now, apparently, the monarchists. It cedes a massive amount of ground because it gives them legitimacy and it makes us look like a bunch of doddering fools. So we got to come up with something. We've got to come up with a formulation and not some hackneyed response. It's got to be a true, full-throated attempt to fix this crack in the foundation. or we are definitely never going to be taken seriously. And it's one of the strangest things that I've seen just in the last, I don't know, 3-4 years, maybe longer. Basically, the Trump presidency, is that there's been this turn to where libertarian, you're just, just ignore them. But now we've got directed, poignant assault going on. The stuff that would be said by socialists to, Republicans or conservatives, and the same thing going the other direction, conservatives going over to socialists, oh, well, you're a this, you're a that, da, da, da. And now the socialists are going after the libertarians because the conservatives have become a little more libertarian. Because they've realized that their ground has been eroded. And now they're trying to find a purchase on something that's a little more solid. But that's the problem. They're stepping on that crack with us. And I don't think it has the weight to support all of us.